Going into this series, I think a lot of people were confident that most likely the Bucks, possibly the Raptors, had a chance against the Warriors. I think that's squashed. We'll talk about those games next, but I don't think there's any way that the Bucks can win at this point.
Let's move on. Let's talk about those Bucks and Raptors.
All right, let's do it.
The series is 2-1 right now in favor of Milwaukee. Milwaukee played terribly in Game 3 and still almost won in double overtime. Raptors got away with a double dribble by Kawhi late in that game to help steal the victory. Not taking anything away from Kawhi, but that definitely helped. The Bucks are going to win tonight, and they're going to finish the series off in 5. That's what's going to happen because they are a juggernaut. This is going to be the most complete team the Warriors have seen in an NBA Finals. So welcome into the show. Views from the Sideline, May 28th, 2019. What you just heard, I don't know. They reincarnated my voice onto some audio. I don't recall saying those words. I don't know what's going on. But oh, hey guys. Oh, Joey, Malik.
Hey.
Welcome to the show.
What's up, man?
It's way too hard to edit audio like that. So those were your words.
Are we sure about that?
For sure.
Can we confirm?
And
we remember.
And I'll make sure to line up the video
there.
when
you
we throw
don't
this
have
up.
to.
So everybody will have seen the actual video evidence with the audio evidence. So yeah.
So about those Bucks.
About them.
Knocked out of the playoffs in 6 games. Raptors with the slight reverse sweep.
Yeah, what happened?
What are your thoughts, Chris?
I need you to go into. You need to become Mike Budenholzer right now.
This was the year of the Budenholzer Bucks.
Tell me what he thought after that loss in Toronto. What he did wrong. What happened? What happened?
Kawhi happened. The Raptors happened.
Drake happened.
Drake. He reversed.
Drake
No,
definitely
let's
happened.
be real here. He reversed the curse. What happened after he wore the Philadelphia 76ers shorts to reverse the curse? They won. Was it Game 6 or Game 7? Was it Game 7? It was Game 7. And they reversed the curse. They're in the NBA Finals. But just get all that out of the way. The Bucks failed to live up to the moment. The Raptors have lived in these moments over the past 6 years. They've been in the playoffs with the Kyle Lowry-led Raptors. They've been to the conference finals multiple times. They've been to the conference semis multiple times, losing to the eventual champions and the Cavaliers. Experience bit the Bucks in the butt. I think Giannis kind of shrunk a little bit at the moment. So did other role players. Like Eric Bledsoe had a terrible series. He said he's played terrible throughout the playoffs ever since he just destroyed the Pistons in round 1 where he could not miss a 3.
Oh, it's not very hard. Anyway, going on.
I don't like the shade thrown. But I think it was experience that really did them in. Plus the factor of going into Toronto for Game 6. After they lost Game 5, it was going to be extremely difficult for them to win that series. Toronto is a different type of atmosphere when it comes to basketball. They have a soccer team following for an NBA team, which is it's not normal for the NBA.
One of the coolest fan bases, as much as I slightly dislike Toronto because they kind of have a bit of a rivalry with the Pistons, their fan base is one of the coolest fan bases out there.
I think in the finals, we're going to have 2 of the best fan bases in the NBA.
I agree. That was something I was going to bring up too, yeah. I totally agree.
Don't get me wrong, there's bandwagon fans because it's the Warriors.
It comes with championships.
It comes with championships. But the root fans,
the people that show up to those games,
the We Believe Warrior fans who stuck through all that, the Warriors were not good for a very long time. But they always had great crowds of fans that supported them. So to have the Warrior crowd go up against this Toronto crowd that's going to be insane. I'm very excited to see how Game 3 turns out with the fan turnout for that one. But Bucks Raptors, yep, I think the Bucks just shrunk in the moment. Raptors had more experience. They have an NBA Finals MVP, an NBA champion, Kyle Lowry, who's been in these moments. He's been trying to get Toronto to the finals for 7 years now. So in my opinion, it was experience, and it was Toronto found a way to not exploit or not expose Giannis, but exploit it. Because you know what Giannis Antetokounmpo is. He's the best paint scorer in the NBA. But how do you stop that? That's what the Raptors figured out. And it kind of helps having Kawhi Leonard, one of the best defensive players in the NBA. What did you guys see from the series, though?
I think there are 3 main people that deserve credit for what the Raptors have done. I'll give an honorable mention to Kyle Lowry because he played his butt off in this series. Defensively, he hit shots when he needed to. He put his heart into getting Toronto here, and I'm happy for him. The fact that he can get to the finals with this
it was so
franchise.
great to see.
Yeah.
You saw the
happiness, happiness on his face, him embracing his kids.
As soon as the buzzer sounded, he embraced his kid. He gets it kind of looks surreal to have an Eastern Conference champion hat that doesn't have the Cleveland emblem on it.
Exactly.
Since that's all we've had over the last 4 years.
But I think the first person is Nick Nurse, because nobody thought Dwayne Casey would be fired going into this season, but changes needed to be made.
Well,
for
and
them to take another step.
and he proved they made the right call.
Exactly. Nick Nurse, he is the coach of the Toronto Raptors. They trust him. They listen to him, and he's that guy. Second is Kawhi Leonard, because he's shown everybody in these playoffs that he's nothing. You have to pay attention to him. He can't be overlooked. He is a top 5 player in this league.
Oh, Kawhi's top
Maybe
2.
top 3. Yeah, he's
top 2.
He's unbelievable when he's in his zone. Even when he's not in his zone, he locks up on defense and does what needs to be done to win the game. Him getting 17, he had 19, 4, and 2, I believe, in that second half of that game. He got that rebound in the end to finally push that lead off to pretty much end the game. He's played like a legend in these playoffs. And then last, I don't think people are talking about this enough, Masai Ujiri and his decisions going into this season. He traded DeMar DeRozan, the most loved, besides Vince Carter, he's the most loved player in that franchise's history. You trade away your best player, your most favorite player, and you fire the coach of the year.
And midseason, he trades Jonas Valanciunas to get Marc Gasol.
Exactly. You make all these moves, these controversial moves, and they all end up working. It shows that an organization that isn't afraid to make changes, to take a next step, and it's really beautiful to see the decisions he made, what he was willing to do to get them to this point. They deserve it. They really do.
I think somebody that most people are overlooking, I've heard a couple of people talk about it, Fred VanVleet's son.
What? Oh.
Fred VanVleet's son. He's the young son hero. After Fred VanVleet's son was born, he went on a tear. I think he averaged...
I didn't know his son was born before that.
He was born in what? It was game 4?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh.
And the final 3 games of the series...
He missed like 3 threes in the last 2 games.
I think it was... must have been game 3, because they said the final 3 games of the series, I believe it was, he scored 18 points. He averaged 18 points. He was 80% from the 3-point line. He was like 14 of 17 or something insane. And that's kind of what the Raptors were lacking in the first couple games, was their bench scoring, which is what they were known for last year, is having all those secondary guards and stuff that would step up at times. And they hadn't really shown up a whole lot in this playoffs. And all of a sudden, everybody started going. Like we said, Kyle Lowry started playing good. So it was just like a collective effort. It was fun to watch. It was cool to see. Kawhi Leonard just keeps getting better and better, and I think he's proving a lot of people wrong. He's making the Spurs actually look bad for once, which is crazy to say. I don't know. I'm still surprised that like they made it look that easy towards the end, at least.
Well, and here's the thing. I'm going back on eating my own words at the beginning of the show, but neither of you picked Toronto to win
Right?
that
No,
series.
no.
Don't get me wrong. I was very defiant. I was very locked in on my viewpoint, but it was all collective view. We did not think
Right.
the Raptors had it in them to get
Me and Malik picked the Bucks in 6. You picked them in 5. And then at the end of the show last week, partially to entertain Chris, we talked about the Bucks Warriors matchup. Now we all kind of look bad for that.
Yeah.
So
we did.
But now we can talk about the Warriors Raptors matchup, so we can talk more matchups. So I'm in.
Yeah. I want to break down games 5 and 6 before we move on to previewing the NBA Finals, because the series turned. The series turned game 4 when Toronto had that blowout win on the road, or at home.
Yeah, it was at home.
Yeah, it was at home. But game 5 on the road, that was the turning point in the series. Kawhi had 35, 7, and 9. They were down 15, I believe it was in the first half, and they came back, fought back, and got the win. I did not see that one coming. Once they won that game, I was like, okay, there's something serious here. What did you guys see from Kawhi in game 5? Was that more of that championship pedigree that he's been there before, he's done it before, so it was just kind of second nature to him? Or is he just that type of player that can produce when called upon?
He definitely is that type of player. You see, when he's emotionless, he doesn't react to much. If you give him the ball and tell him to score, he's gonna do it. If you tell him to lock up on the other best player, he's going to do it. There's not much effort. He does it naturally. I honestly think those last 2 games goes to the defensive effort of Kawhi Leonard and that defense as a whole, because them having the ability to put Kawhi Leonard. Well, really, they put Pascal on him sometimes. Sometimes Kawhi was on him. Whoever was on him, they were able to, for the most part, follow Giannis to the paint, and then when the paint crashed, he would have to look out for a shooter. And sometimes there would be 2 or 3 people in the paint and people out covering shooters, so it'd be hard for him to make a play. He'd turn it over or take a bad shot. So the defensive strategy overall was just phenomenal in those last few games.
Joe? You forgot the question. It's okay, Joe.
No,
it's okay. It happens.
I just think, I don't know. Kawhi was just like on a mission this entire series, I think. And I think it's a little bit of both. Like, he's been there before, but like Malik said, he's just emotionless. Like, it doesn't seem like he cares per se of what the moment is that he's in. He's just going to come out and play his game night in and night out. And he's been super efficient with it.
He's also had the task of playing unlike himself, because he's had to take such a high volume of
Right.
shots.
He's been more of an offensive player than he has in the past. But I think in their offense, it works a little bit better because it's more just like open looks and things like that. But obviously, like, he's the only one for that team that's been to a finals before. Everybody else, this is going to be a totally
Serge
new.
has been to one, but yeah.
Okay, you're right.
Serge was
yeah.
the only other one.
But for that, like, everybody else, this is a new experience, so he has to be the leader. He has to step up in every moment. Whereas, like, on that Spurs team, yeah, he won the Finals MVP, but like, he wasn't the only player on that team. Let's not forget. But this time, it's totally different. Like, this is his team for sure, and I think he's taking that upon himself. And it helps that, you know, he doesn't crack under pressure. He's just cool, calm, and collected.
One of the most clutch players in the NBA currently, too. Are you surprised that the Bucks could not figure out a way, I think they were the best defensive team in the NBA this year, or a top 3 defensive team in the NBA, how they could not figure out a way to at least supplement Kawhi Leonard throughout the series? I mean, you have 6 games to kind of corral him and make him less of a factor. Are you surprised that nothing came about? Because he averaged 30, 35 points per game in this series.
I'm not really surprised, because although like I believe in like defense wins championships, at the same time, like 99 out of 100 times, better offense is going to beat better defense. Just because, like, if you're hot, it doesn't matter. Like, we've seen Steph Curry, like, people will be up in his face and they just make shots. Kevin Durant does the same thing. Kawhi Leonard is just really efficient with where he goes, and he gets the most open look that he can. Like, he's really tactical about it. And, you know, when he's getting going, once you get your shot going, just a defense putting their hand in your face isn't going to really do a whole lot. And I think that's kind of the biggest thing. And I don't know what the Bucks could have done defensively to really change that, unless because they threw double teams at him and stuff. And once you get going, like there's not much they can really do. And that I think that showed in this series.
Malik, do you think there's anything?
Yeah, I just have to agree with everything he said, honestly. I don't think the Bucks, I don't think any team, honestly, right now has a true strategy for stopping Kawhi, because he can score in any way. He can bring the ball up court. He's a great facilitator. He doesn't have to take a high volume of shots. There's a lot of times where if he brings the ball up court, or even if they come up and run a set for him, he'll get the ball, pass it, go around, and then the ball will just end up back in his hands. So I want to see what the Warriors are going to do against him. I want to see.
Game 7. Before we move on, Raptors won that one 100-94, but the Bucks came out very strong in that one. They were up 31-18 after the first quarter. They held a 15-point lead in that game as well. They were up for the majority of the contest. They had a lead from halfway through the first quarter up until the 10-minute mark of the fourth quarter. And then they collapsed. And the only thing that kept them together was Brook Lopez. He had putbacks after putbacks, had a couple shot blocks. Brook Lopez was this year's Zaza Pachulia when it came to signing a free. You remember when Zaza signed with the Warriors back in 2016, and everybody was like, "Oh, this is a bigger signing than Kevin Durant," because they got Zaza at such a cheap price. You don't remember that?
I wouldn't compare Brook Lopez to Zaza Pachulia. I think he brings a lot more to the table.
I'm saying the what's the word I'm looking for? At the time, Zaza Pachulia was voted in as a starter at the All-Star game.
No, that was a joke.
Exactly.
It still happened.
And that was
still happened, guys. But what went wrong in Game 6 for the Bucks to just collapse? Was it Giannis shrinking under the pressure? That's what I kind of got.
I think it was their whole team kind of shrinking.
Exactly.
Like none of them have been there before. Like you brought up earlier,
Experience.
Again, it's another new experience for them. Both of these teams are young, and they haven't been to the playoffs a ton necessarily. I mean, the Raptors have been there, have been around, but at the same time, with this group, they have never been there together. And the Bucks are completely young. They'll probably be a top talent in the East for a while, most likely. But I think, losing Game 5 was obviously a big blow. And I think that's where they kind of the Raptors turned the corner and the Bucks started feeling the pressure. And then I think Giannis felt the pressure a lot. And so I'm struggling Game 6.
Yeah. All right. Is it fair, now that Kawhi has cemented himself as the star that he is? I mean, he already was an NBA Finals MVP, but to take this team to the finals, that's a huge accomplishment and something you add to his resume as a player.
It's something that hasn't been done, literally. Somebody taking the Raptors, this hasn't been done.
Is he the best player in the NBA? I think it's a fair question to start to ask.
As of today, yes.
Better than Kevin Durant?
As of today, yes, because Kevin Durant's injured.
If Kevin Durant was healthy?
If Kevin Durant was healthy, I'm sorry. I'd have to take KD.
Yeah. Well,
as long as KD is playing,
it's hard to say though because we haven't seen KD in a couple weeks. But
I wonder if
those two are 1-2 right now. At the moment.
I wonder, so KD is sounds like he's going to miss games 1 and 2.
He's out Game 1 for sure.
And I think he's doubtful for Game 2.
Right.
And then he's going to travel to Toronto for Games 3
A lot of
4.
people are saying the injury is probably a lot worse than any of us think.
Yeah.
Yeah, some analysts are saying that there's a chance his injury is a lot worse than people are saying.
The Raptors have home court.
They don't.
They're playing in Toronto 1 and 2.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Wow, I was
he just wouldn't travel to Toronto. He would stay in Golden State. So then when they came back home, that's the bigger story here in this series, is that a Game 7 would be
in Toronto. Okay, that's changing things for me.
Yeah.
I was thinking this whole time because Golden State.
I was gonna say I thought you said something about that earlier, that they would go Game 3 to Toronto. No, they actually have home court.
Wow.
Like people kind of forget that
Golden State falling asleep in the regular season a lot.
Yeah,
It bit them. in the
They
back.
had some injuries too, though. Like they had some struggles at times, but yeah.
They also got blown out at full strength a lot, which was weird.
So yeah, it's most likely that Durant will not travel to Toronto for these first 2 games.
I hope him.
So I don't know.
I hope him and Boogie don't dress up. I hope they never show up. I want to see this Warriors team versus this Raptors team.
Okay, I want to
That's
see.
all I want to see.
I want to see Kevin Durant come back mid-series because I think that might cause some dysfunction for the Warriors. Getting him back into the system, or he's more of the ball-dominant player.
Things, yeah.
Because now they're back to the pace and space Warriors that can annihilate anybody. Because you already have one of the best point guards of all time, the best shooter of all time, one of the most creative players of all time, and Steph Curry. Then you have Klay Thompson, one of the best all-time shooters. Then you have Draymond Green, one of the better defensive players in NBA history. You already have that without the best player in the NBA. So it'll be very interesting to see how incorporating Kevin Durant back into the series, if it happens mid-series, changes anything. Because I feel like that's a lot.
Yeah, but it also messes up the Toronto defense. Like right now, I bet you they try to put Kawhi on like Steph.
Yeah.
Because
I think they will at first, but I think
where do they hide Lowry?
Right. That's the biggest factor is
I
Lowry
think
has
there's a
nowhere to
decent
hide.
Chance. I think that's the thing. I don't think he'll have to hide a lot. He is playing such great defense right now. It's
Kyle?
Steph Curry. Steph is still gonna Steph, but Kyle is playing phenomenal first team defense.
But
going
now. From
I don't
Eric,
think they'll have to hide him a whole bunch.
Going from Eric
That's-
Bledsoe to Steph
Steph's
Curry.
Gonna Steph. Yeah, Steph's gonna Steph.
So that's what I'm saying.
I wonder.
That's like their biggest mismatch.
That's gonna be an interesting concept that we're gonna see Nick Nurse go through. Do you put Kawhi on Steph and then let Klay essentially get his? Because don't get me wrong, Kyle Lowry, yeah, he's been playing very well defensively, but he's giving up about 7 inches of height. That's a basket. You can't contest that.
I think you put Kawhi on Steph at first, but I think
I think you put
Kyle-
Lowry at Steph.
I think
first.
Kyle can annoy Steph. I think he really can. He's stronger and he's a lot quicker than people think. So he can keep up with Steph running around. And if he gets up in Steph, he might start missing shots and that'll kind of throw him.
Well,
off.
if they leave Lowry on Steph, I think they'll just stay like kind of normal matchups. Like Kawhi might guard Draymond, and then because don't forget they have Danny Green, who's a great defender himself.
He's got to start hitting shots, man.
So for them to be able to switch Klay and Draymond using Danny Green and Kawhi, I think that's a fine matchup for them. But I think Kyle Lowry is where they're going to struggle a little bit.
If they just let Steph go ISO, it could get ugly real fast.
Well, I think
if Kyle Lowry's guarding him,
I think they're gonna play it as start Kyle Lowry on Steph because he's coming off such a high defensively in the previous series. Let's see how he plays Steph in game 1. Let's not put all our chips in and have Kawhi guard Steph and show them that's what we want to do.
I think Kyle's gonna surprise Steph and strip him a few times.
Yeah,
and it'll.
Kyle surprised me when he stripped Bledsoe a couple times and Giannis a couple times in the previous series. I mean, don't get me wrong, I follow the NBA very religiously, and Kyle Lowry. I mean, you look at him, you don't think he's the best defensive player in the NBA.
That's why he's at this point in his career. He's the type of guy. His effort is going above the talent he has. He's playing so hard that guys he's going up against fold in later games, like later on in the fourth quarter, because he just has a higher level of intensity than most players.
But I think you still have to be concerned of if Kyle Lowry will still fold in the playoffs because he's done it the last few years, and now he's finally in the finals.
He somewhat got over the hump last series.
It's hard to say if he's fully made it over, or if he'll go back to that shell of himself that we've seen in playoffs previously, because now this is an even bigger moment. I hope not just for the competitiveness of the series, but that is a concern for me.
So before we get into any of the key matchups, X factors, storylines of the series, I'm just going to give a broad topic here. I just want to get your first initial thoughts when I bring this up to you. I'm going to look Joey straight in the eyes. Do the Raptors have a chance in the series?
You know, a couple days ago, or probably before the Raptors went on this run, I would have said no, because the Warriors were playing so good going into it.
But are you buying into the hype? We haven't seen the Warriors play, and we're not going to see the Warriors play for 15 straight days.
Right. I still don't think they have a chance. I think they can make it very interesting. but I don't think they have a chance. I just think matchup wise, the good thing about the Raptors, I guess, is that they can actually match up to the small ball that the Warriors have liked to play when they don't have KD. Well, even when they have KD, I guess, which is going to force the Raptors to maybe not play Marc Gasol as much, and it'll be interesting. Like they can match up that way, but I'm not sure how they're going to figure it out, because if Steph keeps playing like he has, I don't know if they can stop him. And Draymond's been back to his triple-double numbers lately. And
and we talked about this on the show last week. This is the best we've seen Draymond play in his career.
And he's been facilitating very well. So I don't really see it, but the Raptors have played with a lot of like tenacity, so they'll make it interesting.
Malik?
Unless they have some off-the-wall defensive strategy that we won't see coming, like Joey, I honestly don't see it. They have to play at such an unbelievable level for 4 games to beat the Warriors. And I don't know if they can reach that level, honestly. It took Fred VanVleet hitting an unbelievable level of hot. It took a lot for them to beat the Bucks. I don't know if they can go even higher to beat the Warriors. I don't think I've seen that from the Raptors, honestly. Danny Green has to be unbelievable in this series for them to win.
Everybody, all the role players have to be unbelievable. Take a look at Marc Gasol. He shot, for his shot chart, he shot 31% of his shots from the three-point line in the regular season. In the playoffs, he's shooting 52% of his attempts come from behind the three-point line. And he's not been shooting the ball effectively either. So you need these role players, the shots that they're shooting, to be effective if you're going to have any chance to exploit this Warrior defense. Marc Gasol needs to shoot at least 35 to 40% from deep in this series to have probably closer to 40, to be honest with you, with the way the offenses are in the series.
Pretty much needs to shoot near 40 or over
they really
for
do.
them to beat the Warriors.
They really do. And don't get me wrong, the Raptors are a very solid defense. And I think they'll give the Warriors a little bit of a struggle, especially because they're coming from the Portland series, which all respect to Portland. They're a good team. But the Warriors played their hardest team they played in the playoffs was the Rockets in the semis. So it's been a little bit since they've played this top tier level of talent. So I think game 1 we'll see a little bit of a closer game. But I'm not so sure if the Raptors really do have a chance.
The Raptors' confidence could come,
especially when you start the series at home.
They could get it from, they won both regular season matchups.
Exactly.
They were kind of in the middle of the season. The Raptors won the first matchup 131 to 128. Kawhi had 37 points. KD had 51 in that game.
Weren't Steph and Clay out that game? It was just
Steph and Draymond were out that game. Clay this was when Clay was going through a really rough patch for a while, and he struggled. The second game, the Raptors won 113 to 93 without Kawhi, and all their guys stepped up. And the Warriors were fully loaded at that time. They had Steph and Clay, Draymond, KD. Steph and Clay were awful in that game. And the Raptors bench players stepped up. Kyle Lowry had a good game. I think Ibaka had a good game. Siakam was going through his little tear. So if anything, the Raptors could take some of that inspiration and maybe say, okay, we've beat these guys before. We beat them at full strength. We beat them, when they were down a little bit. But KD had 51 and we beat them. The problem is the Warriors are totally different right now than they were at that point in time in the season. They're playing a lot better.
They're playing their best basketball of the season.
Yeah. Steph is probably having one of his best playoff performances, or coming off of his best playoff performances. And if he keeps playing like that, he'll finally get his finals MVP.
It'll be interesting to see that. What are some key matchups in this series? Player matchups.
I'm really interested to see what Golden State does. Who do they put on Kawhi first, Draymond or Clay?
It's going to be... Ooh, that's a great...
Who do they put on him first?
I think Draymond.
I feel like
it's going to
go back and
forth. I was going
to
say Clay. Or do they start Iguodala and just have Iggy play?
True. I think it's
Because-
more likely that it's Draymond and
But they have to put
Iguodala.
Draymond on Pascal.
That's what I was thinking.
Because they
Or
can't
they-
hide Clay on
He
Pascal.
also needs
or they
to,
put Iguodala on Pascal. That's where they're like really flexible.
Yeah.
That's why I said they'll play a smaller lineup almost for sure. And maybe they counter Marc Gasol with Andrew Bogut. They're like the similar players, at least defensively. So it'll be interesting to see. Like if they don't have KD at least. Because they'll have to figure that out because they don't really have a fifth guy to play that small lineup with if they don't have KD necessarily.
And Sean Livingston has.
Yeah, he's been nothing.
He's done. I mean, he's even said he's going to retire after this year. So
that'll be interesting. I think they want to save Clay offensively as much as they can, at least without KD.
He
I think
probably
they
need to be on Danny Green too, because if Danny gets hot, then there's not much they'll be able to do.
Right.
what's your key matchup, Joe?
I think it's Steph and Kyle Lowry
I second.
because if Kyle Lowry can't do anything against Steph, and I know like this day and age, there's a lot more switching and things, and people will go all over the place. But I think Kyle Lowry needs to be able to stop Steph or Clay.
Steph has never been that great of a defender, so I think physically, I think Kyle Lowry, bully might be too strong of a word, but I think Kyle will be able to get past him, take him down low, get some easy buckets to get going, and then I think he'll be able to hit some threes. I think Kyle Lowry will have a good series, better than most people expect.
Yeah, because most people expect them to have a terrible series. I mean, yeah, better than you expect, better than averaging probably like 10 points a game. But I was gonna say the Steph Kyle Lowry, depending on when Kevin Durant gets back from his injury. When Durant's back, if he's back, let's say game 2, it's Durant Kawhi for me. It's just those are the two heads of the snake. Those are the two best players in the NBA. Two of the best defenders in the NBA, also best players at their position. It's just, we haven't seen, I mean, actually we did. We saw LeBron and Kevin Durant last year, the two best players at their position. But Kawhi is a different type of player than LeBron. Kawhi is a better defender. I know I've defended LeBron when it comes to his defense, but Kawhi is on another level. So if Kevin Durant's healthy, I'll say that's the key matchup in this series. If he's not, I go to the Steph, Kyle Lowry matchup. X factors in the series, Joe. What aspect, what player, a fan base is the X factor in this series?
Pascal Siakam, because I don't think he's played as good as he did towards the end of the regular season as he has. He hasn't played as well this playoffs. I think he's one that needs to really step up for this team. Obviously, outside of their bench guys that are kind of gritty. Like I said, Van Vliet and those guys. But I think Siakam needs to be causing problems for Draymond or Iguodala. Because if he's not, then they can just go guard Kawhi and not have to worry as much. But if Siakam's on and he's hitting threes, that's a really big stretch that it just stretches the Warriors' defense and it makes it a lot harder on them.
Malik?
I'm going to go with Draymond. I feel like if he is essentially playing point guard like he was last in that Portland series, the Raptors are, I don't know how they figure it out. If Draymond is running the fast break and running plays effectively on offense like he does, they've got to figure out a way defensively to neutralize him. And it may not be that hard because, well, it could be that hard because he figured it out last series, but they've got to figure out a way to neutralize him on offense, because when he's making the plays that he makes, there's no way you can stop them.
My X factor for this series is not one particular player. It's the Raptors' second unit. Because the Warriors are going to beat you with their first unit. That's just what's going to happen. If the Raptors can beat the Warriors enough with their second unit, if Fred VanVleet stays hot, if all those guys on the bench can continue to contribute, this can be a closer series than people expect. I don't know anybody that's really picking the Raptors to win this one.
I've started seeing a lot of people start swaying to the Raptors,
like
actually.
Winning the actual series?
Yeah, recently.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's still Warriors favored, but I'm starting to see people sway to the Raptors.
Well, all three of us consensus, Warriors are the favorite. What has to go right for Toronto? We I think we all think they'll win a game, but what has to go right for them to win this series? I feel like there has to be so many things that have to line up perfectly for the Toronto Raptors to become NBA champions.
Clay has to go back to being.
Clay has to be cold. Steph's got to start to struggle a little bit.
Exactly,
Kevin
yeah.
Durant's got to maybe not come back from injury so soon.
But yeah, that to
Maybe
me,
Boogie comes back from
that
injury.
that might be the thing that gives the Raptors a chance. If KD comes back and Boogie tries to force himself back into the lineup, these Warriors, you almost have to be perfect to beat them. You almost have to be
Oh, yeah.
perfect.
And Steve Kerr's already said that DeMarcus Cousins is questionable, I believe, for the first game. And he said he's not going to try to rush him back in because he knows that could change the whole chemistry. Because you can't just throw him back into the starting lineup. Like, you have to give him some minutes. He's been playing, but big guys take a little bit longer to recover. So he's playing DeMarcus really carefully. So if he plays in game one, I think it'll be very sparingly just to see what he can do. If he can get back on the floor and he looks good doing it, that adds another element to the Warriors that makes it really hard for the Raptors, even if KD doesn't get to play in this series. I think that's one of the bigger factors is if KD doesn't play at all, then I think that would give the Raptors some good luck. But the problem is the Raptors have to win one of these first two games because they know KD is not playing in most likely both of these games.
I honestly think
Is it possible the Warriors
they
clean
need
sweep them?
they might need to win these first two games to win the series.
Yeah.
The Raptors might have
Like
to.
have to
If the Warriors win these first two games in
It's
Toronto,
over.
it's over. Yeah.
It might be a sweep.
And I know we said that about the Bucks series, but it's
This is different.
10 times against the Warriors.
if the Warriors win 2-0 or go up 2-0, that series is done. What's some other storylines in the series that we're missing?
The coaching matchup will be really interesting.
See, to me, it's not that interesting
Why?
because we've seen Steve Kerr for 5 straight years. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how Nick Nurse adapts to the finals atmosphere, but we know what we're going to see from Steve Kerr. You know?
I think an interesting thing is the Warriors bench. Because in the past, the Warriors could pick up almost anybody and their bench would produce. They've had Sean Livingston has gone crazy in the finals before. They've had just random
Iguodala.
guys. Iguodala usually plays pretty well. This year they don't have that as much. We've seen signs from Quinn Cook that he can go off, but he hasn't done a whole lot in this playoffs. They have McKinney this year. He's had a couple okay games. Sean Livingston is nowhere to be seen. Kevon Looney, he does his thing, but he's not going to take over a game or anything. So I don't know where they're going to get production off of their bench necessarily.
I have a storyline. I think this will happen. Drake versus Draymond Green. These first two games in Toronto.
Okay, who does Drake get into it the most with? It has to be Draymond.
Yeah.
Or is it Kevin Durant on the bench?
Drake knows Draymond is going to come up to him and talk to him. If Drake is going to yell and scream, and if Draymond starts missing shots and has a bad start, Drake is going to mentally pick at Draymond, and Draymond doesn't he doesn't ignore people talking to him. He doesn't ignore controversy. I think that's going to happen. And people are going to blow it up to more than what it is. Like stuff like that always happens. But I think that's going to happen.
I mean, what's a celebrity matchup in this one? It's Drake versus Guy Fieri and E40. I mean,
I was thinking E40
I was thinking E40,
yeah.
but Guy Fieri's also a big fan too.
But
He's a super fan.
E40 isn't I forgot the title Drake has for the Raptors.
The
ambassador.
basketball ambassador. Yeah, he's not the ambassador, but I will say that is an interesting storyline because I do want to see Drake on the sidelines. As much of it's kind of a clown show just to see like fans on the sidelines and celebrities getting so much into it and so much attention. But it's just another added aspect. Like, what Kawhi just dunked on Kevin Durant.
Exactly.
How's Drake reacting?
Drake versus the Bucks owner's daughter was very interesting.
Hey, when she pulled up in the Pusha
With the
T,
Pusha T shirt,
and
then he made his Instagram picture of her.
not gonna lie,
That was funny.
The
was
Pusha
funny.
T move was pretty big. I like that. What's the atmosphere going to be like in Toronto for this first opening
it's
weekend.
gonna be nuts.
Be like,
When they go to that outside view to everybody outside watching.
Do you think they have to? I feel like they're gonna have to expand Jurassic Park.
They might have to. Like this Jurassic Park might be much different than anything we've seen. It's gonna be nuts.
And from the other side of things, Warriors, it's like another regular season game. I feel like they've been in the finals 5 straight years. These fans are so accustomed to it. And you're not facing LeBron, the one player that took a championship away from you. If I'm a Warriors fan, I'm like, we got this.
Business as usual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. That's probably the thing I'm most interested in seeing heading into game 1. The fans in Toronto, how crazy that atmosphere is going to be. And Drake. I'm interested to see Drake. How he reacts there.
the first quarter will be super interesting because Toronto's going to be buzzing.
Yes.
And if Steph or Clay come out and they do what they've done sometimes in the past where they just shut a crowd out, that'll be interesting.
Anything else you guys want to talk about? Preview of the finals? Anything?
Nope. Thursday night,
Thursday night,
I'm
9
excited.
p.m. in Toronto, not Golden State. So if you were buying tickets thinking it's in the Bay, you're getting
First of all, you can't read.
get your money back.
Yeah,
Toronto.
You're on the
What?
wrong. You're on the wrong site.
You're on the wrong. Someone's trying to cheap you out. The Detroit Tigers made some news yesterday. Do you know who they signed, Malik?
They signed a legend. That's who they signed.
They signed a legend. 46-year-old Bartolo Colon. What, Joe? What are your Tigers doing?
If they are this bad, why not just bring an attraction for fans to cheer for? Why not?
Bartolo Colon is not a bad pitcher. You know, he
He's
definitely
46.
doesn't look like an athlete, that's for sure. But he's been a solid pitcher for his entire career.
If he hits a home run, imagine how crazy that stadium is going to go.
Well, that probably won't happen too often because
It doesn't. I think he's only hit like 2 in his career.
they'll have to play against an NL team, and he'll have to be pitching that day. And
Yeah.
I don't see that happening.
It's a minor league deal.
Oh,
They're
so it's
closing in on a minor league deal.
okay. So I think they're just using it as backup if somebody gets hurt or something, or somebody just does all. Their pitching is not.
And we should
great.
say it's not confirmed yet. It's just sources.
It doesn't matter.
talking.
They're 19-36. They keep losing. They just lost the series to the Mets, which was kind of their chance. They won one game. The series was slightly competitive, but you know they're falling off. That's
Yes.
they were hanging in there for a little bit, and
You got no more faith in the Tigers?
no, I mean I didn't have faith in them in the beginning.
Do you have faith in any Detroit franchise?
He has
Yeah,
faith
the
in the
Pistons.
Pistons for some reason. We've gone over.
Okay,
this.
what's next?
We've gone over this.
Next on the docket, Dan Gilbert was in the news this weekend.
Mhm.
He suffered a minor stroke. He was taken to a Detroit area hospital. He's awake and well now, but for someone that has such a significant impact, not only in Detroit and the surrounding areas in Detroit, but in Cleveland, that's a scary thing. So all of our wishes, well wishes off to Dan Gilbert. Hopefully he's doing well. And for all his basketball moves aside, he's done great things for the state of Michigan. So
There's something that happened as soon as we finished our show last week.
I'm about to get to it right
And,
now, Malik. It's right there.
Yeah,
Yeah, we talked about it.
it's kind of big news.
Well, that's somewhat big news. Juwan Howard has become the Michigan men's basketball head coach. Signed a 5-year deal. Haven't found the details of the actual dollar amount, but he signed the 5-year deal. Malik, I got to go to you first, and then I'll hit Joey with this. Is he the right man for the job? Be honest. Be honest.
That's really a TBD.
In your opinion.
That's a TBD. That's to be determined.
Okay,
big
right now
time.
right now, in your opinion, with all the knowledge that you have at this point, is he the right man for the job?
I'll go.
Honestly,
Thank you.
no.
Why?
I don't know.
All right,
know.
I'll let you ponder it a little bit and let Joey have the floor.
Can I say something?
Let's hear it.
No matter what coach we hired, I would not know how to feel to be 100% because John Beilein. As long as I've been a fan of Michigan basketball, my first memories are in the early 2000s when Tommy Amaker was head coach, and I only watched them every now and then. I've been a diehard fan of Michigan basketball with John Beilein. That's been it for pretty much my entire life. So with him leaving and with a new coach out of nowhere, no matter who the coach was, at first I'm not gonna know how to feel because it's Beilein, man.
Yeah. Well, there's
I
a
have
lot
no
of
idea how to feel.
there's a lot of uncertainty. That's for sure, and I agree with
With
you.
anybody who came in, I'd be like, okay, we'll see how it goes.
Right. We won't know until they actually play basketball.
Exactly.
But initial thoughts, it looks like another Jim Harbaugh move. They're getting a Michigan guy, but Juwan
to me,
Howard,
this is different. But,
it's a
okay.
little
Why?
different.
Why?
Because the classic move of getting a Michigan guy is getting someone that embraces the old school culture, the old winning traditions. No, it's time to dead all of that, end all of that.
You don't want winning
Old-
traditions?
Old school stuff it doesn't work anymore. Old school Michigan is dead. It doesn't work. Jim Harbaugh is trying. He just brought in Josh Gaddis as a new offensive coordinator to completely switch things around because the old school format does not work anymore. Juwan Howard is a part of a blip in Michigan history of pretty much a culture outside of Michigan. The Fab Five is something you'd usually see somewhere else, but it just happened to form at Michigan. That is a different type of culture. It embraces more of today's basketball, more of today's type of basketball players. So it's a Michigan guy, but it's nothing with the old school tradition and stuff. It's a new type of Michigan guy.
Yeah, but it's still like going back to like a historic moment in Michigan basketball is trying to get this guy that played for the Fab Five, like the most notable Michigan team that's ever played, and he doesn't have any experience. That's the biggest concern.
He doesn't have head coaching experience.
Right,
He
but-
has coaching experience.
but that's a
he had
big
no
difference.
Head coaching.
But that
It
is a big difference.
It is.
And I'm not saying that he's not going to do a good job. Like I said, we can't tell until
Exactly.
he's out on the
See
floor
when it
coaching.
happens.
But initial thoughts, I don't know how they couldn't have gotten somebody else with more experience. Pulled it from somebody from another school. Like this job is easily, I would almost say, a top 10 job in college basketball is the Michigan.
It's
Even
a great,
with-
it's a
wait,
great
wait,
job.
wait,
It's a
wait.
great
Easily,
job.
easily
Even with-
top 20, 15.
Even with the lost recruit and the tons of talent that left the school when Beilein left, it's still a top 10 job opening?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's at least top 20, top 15 easily, just because of the culture that's been
I
built.
say because of the culture that's been built.
Well, doesn't the culture
say
go out
top
the
10.
door with Beilein? Because the new coach is going to establish a culture, his culture.
Right, but you still have a winning program that you can take over, and you have like the foundation. I just can't imagine that there weren't any other coaches that like wanted this job to try to really test their skills. You know, at a smaller school that's had a lot of experience, that's been winning, similar to how Chris Beard moved on, and now he's one of the highest paid coaches in college basketball. Something like that, to want to come to Michigan and keep this winning atmosphere going.
I also thought about that, but then you realize the top coaches in college basketball right now are basically, and you're not taking Tony Bennett from Virginia. You're not taking Jay Wright from Villanova. Chris Beard is Texas Tech now. These coaches in these schools are perfect fits for each other. All the top up and coming guys are perfect fits for the schools they're at.
Right,
so
but
just
that's
ripping them from those schools, especially at this moment in time,
what I'm
would have
saying.
been extremely difficult.
You take the next tier of guys that are up and comers. You find that next Chris Beard, because he just did that, and now he is.
That would be even more difficult.
Now he's the Texas Tech coach,
But that's
Whereas
what they get
now-
paid to do.
and you get somebody that has been winning at maybe a slightly lower level at some slightly lower conference, and you
They
bring him
tried
in.
to go for Porter Moser from Loyola. They tried that. Yeah, he wanted to stay at
Whereas
Loyola.
as now you go for Juwan Howard, who's
Shout out Loyola. That's our team.
completely fresh face, which I get it. I understand it. I'm just saying it's a little odd and it's a little concerning with it, that it looks more of getting a familiar face than
That's
a
where I was going
coach.
to go with my next question. And I'm not making any accusations here. I'm just going to put it out there as a question because I think it deserves to be answered. Is this hiring more for publicity opposed to the talent of the coach?
Yeah. Mhm.
because there has to be.
I don't know how you would just hire a coach off of publicity.
No. I'm not saying that.
coming off of the.
I'm not saying that's the sole reason, but that played a major factor in this because you can't tell me Juwan Howard was the best coach on the market. You can't tell me that.
We don't know what coaches were on the list besides Juwan.
There's always
we
don't. You're right. We don't.
Apparently,
but I
there
can
wasn't
tell you
a
right now,
better
Juwan
choice.
Howard wasn't the best.
We also don't know how many coaches were truly interested, enthusiastic, jumping to the
Joey's
bit
account.
for this mission.
By Joey's account, it's a top 15 job opportunity.
I also think it's a great job opportunity.
Okay,
I think most really good up and coming coaches are so comfortable in their spots that they probably just wouldn't want to take the chance.
You're gonna tell me Michigan can offer one of those up and coming coaches a significant check?
They offered some of them.
A significant number to get them to leave. There's always a number.
They offered stuff.
They didn't offer the right stuff because they didn't get them.
It's just confusing. I'm just lost.
Malik, was he your number one option?
My number one option was Billy Donovan, and I knew that probably wasn't happening.
Okay, outside of Billy Donovan, because that was not happening whatsoever.
Besides Billy Donovan, I didn't have a long list of guys to be 100% honest. I'm being truthful. After Billy Donovan, I was like, I don't know. I don't know.
What's your obsession with Billy Donovan for Michigan though? Because I haven't heard anybody else say anything like you're just a big Billy Donovan fan. You think his system.
All
would
Michigan
work?
fans were jumping on Billy Donovan.
Really?
Yes, that became a big thing.
I think because a lot of people think that Billy Donovan is like a perfect college coach.
He needs to be back in college,
and that he should. And a lot of people were thinking that he would leave the NBA.
Last year, when there was rumblings of Calipari leaving Kentucky to go to UCLA, I was saying Billy Donovan should go to Kentucky or UCLA. Like I think he should be in college at a big program because
he's like a Fred Hoiberg to a lesser degree. He's a college coach. He doesn't fit well in the NBA. Do you guys think Michigan falls off dramatically this next season? I think so. I think this next season they're going to be in the bottom-ish of the Big Ten standings. I really don't. I don't have much confidence in this.
The bottom-ish of the Big Ten standings is like 12 to like 16 wins.
Yeah, I'll say about 16.
It's definitely going to be tough.
Malik, you have to keep this. See, I can say it more so. I'm not. As a Pistons diehard, if you guys told me that the Pistons, the ceiling was 40 wins on that team, I would say you're crazy. I think the ceiling's like 45, 46.
They lost Brazdeikis. They lost Jordan Poole.
Yes.
They lost one of their commits. They almost lost another one, but he recommitted.
Charles Matthews is gone.
That's
a lot.
I have no idea. This first year could be rough. Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
This first year could be rough.
I think it's at least going to be 2 years before Michigan bounces back to making any noise in the tournament.
Possible. I don't have any prediction. I have no idea. I don't know at all. I have no idea.
Especially when Michigan State's going to be looking really good next year.
So you think Michigan's going to take a drop off, though, right, Joe?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
There's no way they're going to come back as a better team or of like really good team. I knew that there's no way that's going to happen. I think they're going to be average for most of the season. I think they'll be average. I don't think they'll be horrible because they still have talent. I think they'll be average.
I think you're just being optimistic.
The one bright side about
you
this...
want me to just say Michigan is going to be horrible?
I want you to.
You want me to feed into my depression, huh?
Yeah.
Is that what you want me to do?
Join the dark side, Malik.
Hey, Malik, it'll just be right. The Pistons are trash. Michigan can be trash. The Lions are trash. We'll have the trifecta.
We'll get through this together.
The one bright side about this, we didn't hire Rick Pitino.
Listen, at least
that would have been funny though.
You are acting like I'm saying it's going to be business as usual. I said they're going to be average. That's a drop off from what this program has been.
You're saying I think they're going to win 0 to 5 games. I'm saying bottomish.
I said bottom of the Big Ten is just really really bad.
12 to 16 is their range.
That's an awful team.
I know. I think that's their range. Juwan has never even been a head coach before. He's an assistant coach in the NBA, which is also a different league.
I think if he keeps these assistant coaches, I think they can I don't think they'll be a bad team. There's no way they'd be a bad team if they keep these assistants, because these assistants are just
Malik,
as much a part of this.
Malik,
as
your
much
optimism
as
is showing.
how?
Moving
No, don't you move on. Don't you just say that my optimism is showing when I bring up a solid point. There's a reason why they need to keep the people. Michigan fans want them to keep these assistants because they are a huge part of what.
because they
this
know
program
Juwan Howard
is.
is.
Luke Yaklich built that defense. Saudi is a huge recruiter. He got John Sanderson to stay the strength and conditioning guy, which was huge. If he keeps them and they get him into the flow of things, it may not be a huge drop off.
May not be. So that's all to be determined in the fall. Couple quick hitters to round out the show. RJ Hampton, one of the top recruits in the nation. He's going to play overseas instead of college basketball. Quick thoughts on that, either of you?
Things like this are gonna keep happening until they change the high school rule back to what it was.
Which they're
in a few years.
Yeah, they're
for the
changing it
NBA.
back.
And he's like the first one to completely forego college to play overseas too. I think
Terrence Ferguson did it.
Yeah, but they were saying all of those, like Brandon Jennings, Terrence Ferguson, and one other
Emmanuel
person.
Mudiay.
That was more, Moutier. Those were all because of concerns about their academics in college. That's why they went there. Whereas RJ Hampton just says he knows he's wanted to be a pro since he was little, and he feels like the best opportunity for him to make the NBA is to just keep playing at a higher and higher level.
And then John Morant, future Memphis Grizzly, signed with Nike. The next player to drop probably in this draft, Zion Williamson. Where does he sign? We think it's all Nike, right?
They'll probably offer the biggest check. So
What if he surprised everybody and became the next Puma athlete?
That would be fantastic. I would love it. Well, that's our show for this week. Views from the Sideline, May 28th, 2019. We will be back next week dissecting the NBA Finals, getting ready for the NBA Draft. A lot of stuff happening. We will see you guys next time.
we'll know if the series is over or not by the next episode.
Chris, I'm trying to have hope in my team. I try to have hope. I already don't believe in my team for the most part.
Malik,
but you keep trashing
your
my,
optimism
you
is
keep
showing.
Trash, man.